The compass wasn't broken. It had been pointing in the same direction all along. The only thing that had changed was her willingness to trust it. Have you ever stood in front of a simple decision and somehow turned it into a battle inside your own mind? You choose one answer, then immediately wonder if another would have been better. You send a message, then reread it 5 times. You make a plan, only to question it before you've even taken the first step. Little by little, you stop trusting your own judgment. The strange part is, most people don't even notice when it begins. Self-doubt rarely arrives all at once. It doesn't knock on the door. It quietly slips into your thoughts, one small question at a time. What if I'm wrong? Maybe someone else knows better. I should ask one more person first. At first, those thoughts seem harmless. In fact, they can even sound responsible. After all, thinking carefully before making a decision isn't a bad thing. But there's a difference between thinking carefully and never believing your own answer. Many people spend years collecting advice, reading books, watching videos, listening to experts, waiting for the perfect moment to finally feel ready. Yet no matter how much knowledge they gather, certainty never seems to arrive, because confidence was never created by having every answer. It grows the moment you begin trusting yourself, even before you know the outcome. Psychologists often describe this as part of human behavior. Our brains naturally search for certainty because certainty feels safe. If someone else makes the decision, then failure feels easier to blame. But when the choice is yours, so is the responsibility. And responsibility can feel frightening. So instead of moving forward, we keep looking around, hoping someone else will quietly point us in the right direction. The irony is, while we're waiting for certainty, life keeps moving. Opportunities pass, dreams become postponed, and sometimes, the greatest mistake isn't making the wrong choice. It's never making one at all. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet forest. In your hand is a compass. Its needle points steadily toward a single path. But before taking the first step, you notice something. Everyone else is walking in a different direction. One person confidently heads east. Another insists the safest route is west. Someone else says they read a book that recommends going north instead. Suddenly, the compass in your hand feels less convincing, not because it has changed, but because the voices around you have become louder than the one inside you. This is how self-doubt often grows, not from a lack of ability, but from an excess of comparison. The more opinions you collect, the harder it becomes to hear your own. There's a psychological principle known as decision paralysis. When our brains are overwhelmed with too many choices or too much advice, making any decision starts to feel risky. So we wait, we research, we ask one more friend, watch one more video, read one more article. It feels productive, but sometimes it's simply fear, wearing the disguise of preparation. Overthinking has a strange way of making us believe that one more answer will finally remove all uncertainty. But life has never worked that way. Every meaningful decision comes with uncertainty. Starting a new career, ending a relationship, moving to another city, following a dream. No amount of planning can eliminate every unknown. And perhaps that's what makes courage so valuable. Courage isn't the absence of doubt. It's choosing to move, even while doubt is still sitting beside you. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. They don't wait until they're completely certain they won't fall. If they did, they would never begin. They wobble. They lose balance. They scrape their knees. But with every small attempt, their confidence grows. Not because someone guaranteed success, but because experience quietly replaced fear. Confidence is built the same way, not by thinking longer, but by taking one honest step, then another. Emotional intelligence reminds us that emotions are important signals. They deserve to be heard, but they were never meant to become permanent roadblocks. You can acknowledge fear without allowing it to hold the steering wheel. The compass was never asking you to predict the future. It was only asking whether you were willing to take the next step. There is an old story about a traveler who carried a compass everywhere he went. One morning, he arrived at the edge of a vast forest. The path ahead divided into several directions. Each one looked possible. Each one promised something different. He took the compass from his pocket. The needle settled almost immediately. It knew exactly where to point. But before taking a step, he noticed something. Other travelers were choosing different paths. Some walked with complete confidence. Others spoke as if they knew every answer. A few even laughed at the direction his compass suggested. So he hesitated. Maybe they knew something he didn't. Maybe his compass was wrong. Maybe he should wait just a little longer. Hours passed, then an entire day. One by one, the other travelers disappeared into the distance. The forest became quiet. The wind softened. The voices faded. For the first time, there was nothing left to listen to, except the steady silence. Inside his own hands, he looked down. The compass had never changed. Not once. It had been patiently pointing in the same direction the entire time. In that moment, he smiled, not because he suddenly knew where the path would lead, but because he finally understood something. The purpose of a compass isn't to guarantee that the journey will be easy. Its purpose is simply to remind you which direction already feels true. Perhaps our intuition works the same way. It isn't loud. It doesn't compete with the opinions of strangers. It doesn't argue or try to prove itself. It simply waits until the noise becomes quiet enough for you to hear it again. Maybe that's why the people we admire most aren't always the ones who made perfect decisions. They're the ones who stopped waiting for perfect certainty. They made mistakes, changed direction, learned new lessons, and kept walking anyway, because every step, even the wrong ones, taught them something that standing still never could. If you spent years questioning every decision, every dream, or every part of yourself, perhaps you don't need a better compass. Perhaps you simply need to trust the one you've been carrying all along. The next time you find yourself asking, "What if I choose the wrong path?" Try asking a different question. What if I spend my whole life too afraid to choose any path at all? Sometimes the greatest act of courage isn't knowing where you're going. It's taking the first step while still carrying uncertainty. And one quiet step has always been more powerful than 1,000 perfect plans that never leave your imagination. Thank you for spending these moments with Psychology Canvas. If today's story spoke to you, subscribe for more videos exploring human behavior, emotional intelligence, and overthinking. One story, one insight, and one step closer to understanding yourself.